Tina Smith thought this was her big moment.
You're a billionaire, and they are your employees. The imbalance of power is extreme.
During a Senate hearing, the Congresswoman kept hammering Starbucks' ex-CEO, but he got the last word, delivering a masterful takedown.
Anyone who keeps labeling this billionaire thing...
Mr. Schultz, I don't mean to cut you off. We have time limits here, and you have the opportunity. I'm not cutting you off.
It's your moniker constantly. It's unfair.
That's why today we're covering it all, because we're not here to follow parties blindly. We're here for common sense. So if you're an independent thinker, hit the subscribe button, and let's jump right into it.
I want to just touch on one other thing. I've been listening really closely to you today, and I also come from the private sector, had my own company at one time before I moved into the public sector, and I've been really struck by your focus on what an excellent company you are. And honestly, it sounds as if you are personally offended or even insulted that anyone would question you or your company. And it seems as if you feel that only bad companies should be unionized, that there's something nefarious about a company that is done something bad and therefore they need to be unionized, and that Starbucks doesn't need a union because you are a good company. But I think, Mr. Schultz, that is not your decision to make. And I believe that there is an inherent value in coming together to organize that would address this imbalance of power that I think the many, many Starbucks
Senator,
partners sitting behind you and in Minnesota feel. I mean, you're a billionaire, and they are your employees. The imbalance of power is extreme, and that is why people want to come together to form a union.
Now, for context, this hearing came after accusations that Starbucks' former CEO was engaged in union-busting tactics, which led the Senate to subpoena him for questioning. But that's beside the point in this video. You see, as much as Tina Smith tried to present herself as the ultimate champion of unions, her record doesn't exactly match her rhetoric. Smith has happily accepted campaign donations from giants like Meta, Zillow, and JP Morgan, companies that either have only partially unionized workforces or none at all. So, while she lectures about protecting workers, her own financial backing tells a very different story. That's the kind of hypocrisy that's hard to ignore. And it seems more like she was performing for the cameras than actually standing up for labor. Now, Howard wasn't about to sit quietly while being vilified for being a billionaire. So he shot back saying this.
The last thing you said, and it's been said many times by the chairman, I just want to make a point of that. This moniker billionaire, let's just get at that, okay? I grew up in federally subsidized housing. Let me finish. I grew up in federally subsidized housing. My parents never owned a home. I came from nothing. I thought my entire life was based on the achievement of the American dream. Yes, I have billions of dollars. I earned it. No one gave it to me. And I've shared it constantly with the people of Starbucks. And so anyone who keeps labeling this billionaire thing...
Mr. Schultz, I don't mean to cut you off. We have time limits here, and you have the opportunity. I'm not cutting you off.
It's your moniker constantly. It's unfair.
No, it is not. You have had more time. I've been generous with the time. I'm sorry.
But, Mr. Chairman...
We have a room full of people.
Bernie was quick to jump in because at this point, it's practically his trademark move. For years, his entire brand was built on railing against millionaires. But once Bernie himself crossed into that category, the target suddenly shifted. And now it's all about the billionaires. The pattern is hard to miss. It's always about going after those whose net worth is just a step above his own, while framing himself as the eternal voice of the proletariat. That way, he never has to admit he's part of the system he claims to be fighting against. Senator Mullen was also on the panel during this hearing, and he used his time to point to the hypocrisy of this political spectacle. Needless to say, he didn't hold back.
And I'm not trying to defend your company because, quite frankly, politically, we're on totally different ends of the spectrum. And so the irony of this hearing is actually kind of funny. And I do want to point out some hypocrisy about this hearing with the chairman. And it's not trying to get personal. All this information is going to be very public. But I take offense to the chairman pointing out that all CEOs are corrupt because they're millionaires. You know, if you make a lot of money, you're corrupt. Yet it's bothering to me because, Mr. Chairman, you yourself have been very successful. Rightfully so. Glad you have been. You've been in office for 28 years, and You and your wife have amassed a wealth of over $8 million. And in fact, your quote on being wealthy and being a millionaire was, well, if you write a bestseller, you can be a millionaire too. If you can be a millionaire, why can't Mr. Schultz and other CEOs be millionaires and be honest too? If that's the case, then why is it that Mr. Schultz, who actually creates jobs and a bestseller of a book isn't creating any jobs? Why is it that he's corrupt and you're not? Why is it that all CEOs are corrupt because they're wealthy, and yet our chairman, who is wealthy, and I'm glad you are, you're not?
Exactly. Now, I'm not rushing to defend Howard Schultz. The man has to have his fair share of controversies. But at the end of the day, he's someone who built something real. He basically took the idea of a coffee shop, polished it up, and turned Starbucks from fewer than 20 stores into a global powerhouse. Like it or not, he's the Steve Jobs of the coffee world. His wealth didn't come from handouts, shortcuts, or political favors. It came from building a brand millions of people recognize around the globe. Now, compare that to what we see from some of our lawmakers. Many of them didn't invent anything, nor did they risk their own money. Instead, their fortune can generally be traced to cozying up to lobbyists and making sure corporate interests get what they want in exchange for staying in office. And then, with a straight face, they step in front of the cameras and rage about the evils of billionaires, as if they're not profiting from the same system. To wrap things up, we've got another clip from Bernie, this time from RFK Jr.'s confirmation hearing. What he said laid out the truth about how Congress really operates.
I'm going to make America healthier than other countries in the world right now.
Will you guarantee do what every other major country does? That's a simple question.
And by the way, Bernie, the problem of corruption is not just in the federal agencies, it's in Congress too. Almost all the members of this panel are accepting, including yourself, are accepting millions of dollars from the pharmaceutical industry.
And
protecting their interests.
Oh, I thought that would come. No. I ran for president like you. I got millions and millions of contributions. They did not come from the executives, not one nickel of PAC money from the pharmaceutical industry. They came from workers.
In 2020, you were the single largest
because I had small contributions from workers all over this country. Workers,
you were
not a nickel from corporate tax.
You were the single largest acceptor of pharmaceutical dollars.
No, from workers in the industry.
1.5 million.
Yeah, out of 200 million. All right, but you have not answered. Last question. You have not answered my question.
It's funny how it escalated from taking nothing to only $1.5 million. As if stuffing the word only makes it sound any better. And while it's claimed most of it is from workers, ABC actually ran an article back in 2019 pointing out that a few pharmaceutical executives also pitched in with donations. It's just another example of convenient framing. Let me know in the comments your thoughts on this story. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and remember, keep on thinking.